So guys, here we go again. Another site is basically putting out stuff that they're, I think, confusing readers about at this point. They're saying that the Switch is an X2, but it's also a standard Maxwell X1 chip. They're kind of back and forth here, and I'm going to go over this with you guys and kind of tell you what's happening. So this is from a site out of Germany, and it's called Computer Bild, I guess it's BILD.de, and it's all in German, so of course I have to rely on Google Translate's awesome grammar to read it. But it did a pretty good job, I think, overall. It does tell us that these people decided it was a good idea to break Nintendo's embargo on this thing. If you do not know, Nintendo has some sort of embargo on the Switch until a certain date. GameSpot has pretty much confirmed this with their tweet saying, we can't take pictures of the system outside of the box. We can show you pictures of the box. Which is fine. I mean, the box has already been in all kinds of marketing. I get that. Nintendo, it put an embargo on the system so that people don't have to feel rushed. That's what embargoes are really for. These news organizations don't have to feel news organizations at times. Computer Bild is an example of a news place, I guess. They don't feel rushed to have to put a review out quickly, hastily. They don't have to worry about that. They can take their time with the games. Honestly, if a review is out now, they did not take their time and do their due diligence with this, and it was a mistake, I guess, setting them a Switch in this case. Now, I don't know this site personally. I have not been on this site until now. All I can go by is this article that they put out, which has been changed significantly since it was brought to light. I don't know if Nintendo got word of it and then sent them a message telling them to take it down or change it or do something because it's wrong. But technically what they put out, I guess, was not completely wrong. They seem to pull sources from all over the place saying that it was Maxwell and that it was Pascal, then it was an X1 or an X2, it was a second-gen Maxwell. It's all over the place right now. And they have basically got to the point where they have eliminated all of that from this article. So unfortunately, I did not take any screenshots of this article. You just have to take my word for it. There's other people that saw it as well. It's all over Twitter. We were talking back and forth on it a lot. And so they go down, they do take the back off of the Switch, which is good because there's a couple things I want to go over with that too. But let me talk to you about this article for 1 second. So originally the article started by saying it had a quad-core A57, Maxwell second generation 256 CUDA cores, 4 gigs of memory, all that stuff, okay? That's fine. And they basically took that entire quote, that entire set of specs from other places on the internet. So that's not anything that they have drawn. It's not a conclusion they figured out. They just pasted it there and went about their time writing this article. And then they show a picture of them taking the back off of the Switch, at which point I assume they stopped because they realized that they are getting in deep if they start really getting any further than that. And underneath that, for some reason, they started quoting it having like an X2 or talking about a place that was talking about them having an X2 in the Switch, and that it was based off of the underlying, I guess, idea of the GTX 1050, which GTX 1050 is Pascal, so it could be based off of any of those video cards, just the idea and the infrastructure. But I don't think they worded it correctly. A lot of people saw that and said, oh, they took it apart. They know it's the X2. I'm going to, I think, burst a lot of people's bubble here. If we take this system apart, it's not going to say Maxwell or Pascal on it more than likely. We'll have a set of numbers on the chip that probably indicate different parts of it, and then we'll have to do some research. I don't think we're going to open it up. It's going to have a heat spreader on it, so I don't think we're going to open it up and see whether or not it's Pascal or Maxwell instantly. We're going to have to do some research on that and some detective work. Luckily, there's a lot of really smart people out there. There's some good guys over at Digital Foundry that can probably help out. They may have an X-ray machine. That's the other thing. We're going to have to X-ray the sucker, so I'll at least be able to get it apart, get high-def pictures of the heat spreader. I cannot imagine it's being equipped with no heat spreader and just a single die. It's a system on a chip, so it should have some sort of metallic heat spreader on top, more than likely like aluminum. So yes, they seem to get stuck right at this point that you're seeing behind me where they've got the back off and it was like a metal cage in there, which is great. For example, metal cages like these that go around the entire motherboard are great because they'll keep it from doing like flex work, which is good. So the tablet itself, when holding in your hand, should not flex. And I can say when I held it, it was very solid. And that's probably why a lot of tablets don't have this cage in there. It's just, you take the back off and it's just plastic that's holding it together. That's why some tablets you can kind of take and twist and you can feel it kind of move. It's just the glass on the front that's really keeping it from flexing. So I'm happy, very happy to see that the Switch has a type of support inside. This is a big deal. Now, it's metallic. You can see the fan has a little bit of room to breathe there to pull air in, push it out the top. I told you guys several times I could feel air being jetted out the top of the system. At times with Mario Kart, it was a little more than I thought it would need, but still, it's keeping itself cool, and it is cooling a hot chip. It's definitely not the coolest chip in there. After I felt the back when playing Mario Kart, I could tell. Now, I understand why a news outlet, one that reports on computers even, would not want to go any further with disassembling this Switch. If you damage it, this is their preview build. This is their early system that they can use to then preview games and do reviews. I understand why you don't want to take it any further apart if you're not comfortable with it. That's fine. The back comes off, it looks like relatively easily. There's some screws. You probably have to use a plastic pick of some kind. I have like a million of those, so it's not a big deal. And then the back comes off, and then you have to start removing that metal cage. They probably don't want to. That's probably where they stopped. This picture is probably where they stopped the entire process. And then I guess for some reason they decided to start talking about the X2. Maybe some people could draw their own conclusions like, oh, it must be an X2, they took it apart. They don't seem to know. I will say that. They don't seem to know. The article being changed heavily tells me this, and they probably did not go any further. Again, I can't blame them. Put it back together. Do your reviews of the system. Do your reviews of the game. And then if you want, take it apart or keep it and then do reviews of more games as they come out. I will say it's a shame that these kind of sites seem to get the Switch when I know there are probably better places to send it to. I'm not talking about myself, for example. I'm talking about other YouTubers, for example, that could probably do a better job than what this news organization has done at this point, other than just completely gaffing this entire situation with bad information in the article, because now people are freaking out online thinking that it's an X2 when we really don't know. It could be an X2, it could be an X1. We just don't know. And this article has really seemed to push those people over the edge thinking that it is an X2. If it was, they would have high-def pictures with a DSLR of the chip, and we would be able to examine it right now. I also think it's a shame that they have broken the embargo or the NDA, because now other sites may feel the need to be rushed a little more because somebody already has their review out. How you can go through the entire system, play games, and get this review done this fast, I'll never know. It's pretty obvious. They probably posted first impressions as their review. That's a shame. It really is. Again, GameSpot and the other ones will probably have a better review than this by a good bit because they'll spend a lot more time. There'll be several people's opinions and impressions mixed in there, and I think they'll just do an overall more objective review than this place, which appears to have done a very rushed review. So yeah, guys, don't worry about this site. They seem to have confused themselves even and cut half the article out. So don't worry about it. We still don't know what's in there. They just took the back off probably. If they want to go further with it and take pictures of the chip, great. Put them up online so we can examine them ourselves. I'm still going to do a disassembly. Even if somebody beats me to it, I don't care. I'm still doing a disassembly with full video, HD. We'll take actual 4K pictures of the chip. We'll get all kinds of stuff there. I'm still taking apart the Joy-Cons, the Pro Controller, the dock, if I can figure that out, because all the pictures, there's no screws from what I can tell. But either way, I'm taking that apart as well. Everything's coming apart on my table over there, and we'll do that together. It's happening Thursday night when I get the system. Like, I guess I'm going to go to the midnight release, which I swear if GameStop does not do a midnight release, I'll be shocked. And I feel like they will probably do one. So I'll have it. We'll do that whole thing. I'll even do an unboxing. And then hopefully I'll have it out either that night or the next morning, and we can finally see what chip is in this system. So yeah guys, that's going to do it for now. Don't worry about this site. They seem to, like I said, confuse themselves. We're still a ways out before somebody opens it up. I assume it'll be another week or so. I don't expect IGN. I don't expect GameSpot. I don't expect any of those places, Polygon, whoever, to open the system. It's just not their thing. That right now is company property, so they probably are not allowed to anyway. And why would you damage a preview system that Nintendo has so graciously sent you? Under an NDA, by the way, so I don't know what this place, I don't know if there's any ramifications for them, if they now are blacklisted from getting any of Nintendo's preview builds. Again, Nintendo, you could have probably sent it to better places, to be honest. There are probably better people who would have also reached out further with their influence on YouTube, for example. They could have done a better job. But that's all for now, guys. Let me know what you think down in the description below, down in the comments, I'm sorry. I'll leave a link to this completely changed now article in the description, and you guys can decide for yourselves what happened here. So until next time, guys, I will see you then.